There are growing concerns over how the 13% derivation funds meant for the oil-producing communities are being used by the governors of the 9 Niger Delta states. The 13% derivation is the fund set aside to assist oil-producing communities tackle infrastructural decay and degradation. Recall that the Niger Delta region has gotten trillions of naira constitutionally accrued to it through 13% derivation for over 23 years, with over 600 billion naira of that sum already gotten in the first half of 2024. But successive governors from the region have not been able to better the lots of the communities, as the people still live in squalor, diseases, and reeking with the worst and highest form of poverty. Despite the seeming despondent economic state of the nation, the federal government, however, has not failed to actualize a steady increment in the 13% derivation to the Niger Delta governors. In January, 57.92 billion naira was released to the oil-producing states. In February, it rose to 85.10 billion naira. And in March, the Niger Delta oil-producing states got 166.24 billion. The sums were 90.2 billion naira, 120.45 billion naira, 106.50 billion naira for April, May, and June, respectively. ATN conducted an investigation to these areas, these oil-producing communities, and you will weep when you gauge the abject living conditions with what has been allocated to them. No electricity, no drinking water, no roads, and a total lack of basic amenities. The 13% oil derivation funds to 9 oil-producing states from June 2023 to May 2024 allocation in 1 year. And now this is the breakdown. Delta states, 211 billion 69 million. Akwa Ibom State, 127 billion 77 million. Bayelsa State, 115 billion 53 million. Rivers State, 110 billion 96 million. Edo State, 22 billion 36 million. Ondo State, 19 billion 45 million. Imo State, 8 billion 88 million. Anambra State, 6 billion 76 million. Abia State, 5 billion 5 billion. This breakdown comes from statistics, FAC. The questions are, is there anything commensurate to show for the large inflow to the states? Secondly, what are the governors doing with these funds? Let me start with you, Victor Eniche. What are the governors doing with these funds? That's number one. Number two, with the monies so far allocated to these states from 13% oil derivation funds, would you say that the infrastructures you see on ground, the quality of livelihood of the residents of these states, they are commensurate with these monies? Now, do not forget, we are not looking at the IGR yet. We are not looking at the increased FAC allocation yet. We are just talking about 13% derivation, even though we'll still come to that as well, and I'll reel out the figures for you. But then, with what you have seen so far with the 13% derivation, would you say that whatever the governors have put on ground is commensurate? We can actually take a cursory look at River State, because I mean, this is where we live, and this is where you can say with every surety that this is what it is and this is what it's not.
Well, I mean, it's a profound no. I'm sure you know that. My problem with some of these issues are the name, first of all, is derivation, means it's derived from somewhere. The question is, where is it derived from? Now, if you look at the case study, we're working with River State. Most of the communities where these assets and these resources are generated from are the communities, are the rural area. So if you're getting a fund derived from my community, if you go around the communities in the 24 LJs in River State, you will not agree if without knowing those things, the amount coming out from those communities, you will never agree that this is the community or these are the communities producing, this amount that is derived from. So it's an absolute no. The fact that you're able to do 1 or 2 recurrent expenditure in the capital and a couple of cities around, doesn't really qualify, because we still have the IGR, we have, the federal allocation that still comes, not the 13%. This is a specific amount that I would assume would work or would go to the rural communities. But as I'm talking to you, if you go to all the communities, I'm from an oil producing, community, and I can tell you that there's absolutely nothing to show that this is what is coming out. This place is producing this amount. I mean, people ask questions. You go to places like the UAE and you see the kind of development that is coming up, in the not just Dubai now, but in other cities around the UAE. You understand how, okay, look, this money is coming from here. First of all, there are roads. I mean, you can't go and not find road. Now, there are industries, because I keep asking the question, what happens with the money? If you have a farmland and you're generating income, what happens to you? You try to make sure that you have security in your farm, you do perimeter fencing, you want to ensure you have logistic materials and all of that. That is what I would expect in the communities, but from the amount of money that is generated from the rural communities, because that is where, when you say derivation, is derived, it means this is what is coming out. Part of what is coming out, we're giving you 13% as profit from what you're producing. But the question is, the person producing, the environment producing, what is being put back? If you go to Odi today, you would not believe the amount of money that come out of that community. If you go to the surrounding environment, you'll be disappointed that the history that this place carries. So for me, I think there's a misplacement of appropriation and from the leaders, from the various governments that have taken charge of the resources that has been accrued from 13% derivation. And because, like you and I have talked on, I think on this show, where we need to hold the right people accountable. We've not done that enough of that. Go to the community. There are CDCs around the community.
Why is that we've not done enough of that? Have we even done that at all?
Oh, yeah,
because
no.
you agree with me that this end bad governance in Nigeria, it was directed at the federal government. But people are not asking questions.
Yeah,
what has the state governors been receiving?
So the problem is when people see governance, when they say bad governance, they see the federal government, and that's what people see is governance. Yes, I agree the federal government has a major role in terms of the policy direction of the entire nation. But then you have a huge amount of our resources being handed over, and I said this independently to states, the LGAs, the House Assembly, to appropriate this in. How many times do you hear the State Assembly come up to pass laws, that would create agency that ensures rural development? Because this is where these things are coming from. Their health is at stake. Go to most of the rural communities, you can't find several natural things that you should have, both fishing and agriculture. I mean, I'm a farmer, so I do farm in my community, and I've done agriculture in both Abuja, I've done it in Nasarawa, and I've done it in my community. And you see the difference. Just to clear a small portion of land, I looked for tractor at some point in my community. For over 2 months, I could not get a single tractor. I'm not saying give me for free. I was willing to hire. I could not. And the only one I finally saw from the federal Polytechnic there, the rector boldly told me, he said, look, they've stopped releasing this into the public because the last one, they had 2. One is gotten missing. And I'm wondering, in a full community with these huge resources, so how do you encourage agriculture and all of these things? Where are the funds that are coming out from these communities? Where is it going to? If you go right now, because of the misplacement of priority in terms of how this allocation is being given, now the rural communities, that is why you see this illegal bunkering increasing. Because you are taking the oil and we're not seeing profit. We're not seeing any impact. So what do we do?
No cleansing of the land, aquatic life is gone.
So let us go and get the oil. I've been to certain part of the north where I have friends. I had a friend that his dad was into gold mining, and it will baffle you to see how responsible they claim when they talk about gold mining. It is their own. They pay to the government a certain percent.
It's privatized.
Yes, it's same.
I think somebody's echoing that with me.
There are people that come and mine this thing, go through the illegal borders quietly. make a lot of money. No, you don't hear people shouting about it. And the thing that he does in the communities is the same thing. Now, you don't see an immediate effect on the people in the rural community. But one thing you can be sure, they cannot blame the federal government. One thing you can be sure of, they know the people doing this, their brothers around, so they know the people to hold. But just like you and I keep complaining, nobody holds people
anybody.
Yes, accountable for it. So it's the same thing with our community. So the boys have seen that, look, we've had money. This thing is just here. If you go to my community, if you sleep at night, the gas flaring is so high that you can hear it. It's so loud. You see the flame. This is a community. But if you go to that community and ask, what are the things that, the productive ventures that the people have been engaged in? None. You go to a community where I went and we did a seminar. I had a foundation I run. We did a seminar and tried to get people together. I was baffled at the amount of people that were complaining, that were wishing they had just little opportunity to get something, little opportunity to learn something. They did not have. And you have CDC. When I made the revelation that the CDC has gotten over 100 million naira, people were shocked. That is this our CDC, our fellow brothers. I say they don't believe. But that's the amount of money that gone. So for me, I think there's misdirection in terms of how this thing is being implemented. People should understand that we, the communities, this derivation should go to the communities, not to the cities, go to these communities and develop the areas that are producing this thing. Why is important is this: if you don't take care of what is producing for you, in time it will die.
Of course.
And once it dies, the people that are there, they become liabilities. And then the state suffers, the country suffers. So I think we need to try to prioritize correctly. And for me, most importantly, we need to start holding ourselves accountable. Not waiting for... How many of us can go to Abuja to hold the national assembly?
The governor is here.
So we have people...
Is it not the same people during protests? Like, by the way, between January this year and May this year, IGR and FAC allocation to Rivers State is over 400 billion. Let that be on record, over 400 billion. Now you add that to 13% derivation of 110 billion naira. What it means is between January and now, Rivers State has received over 500 billion naira in allocation.
That's not just it. If you check the recurrent expenditure of the state, side by side, what has come in, you would understand how much has been left for the government to do the things that will benefit the people.
Now, the question is, like you said, it's time to hold ourselves accountable. During the bad governance in Nigeria protest, what did the protesters do? They protested and when they got to government house, the governor promised them. Now, the governor said, I feel your pain. Let me quote the governor. I feel your pain. We are together in this. And then he encouraged them and applauded them for being peaceful. Then promised them, he said, I have a little something for you for pure water and bread. Now, this is a governor who has received over 500 billion. And the truth, like I keep asking, is if people are feeling the direct impact of these allocations, of this governance coming in, truth be told, the level of protest, hunger protest, we're not even looking at the 5 billion naira palliative that was given to states to ameliorate the effect of hunger and fuel subsidy removal. Which begs the question, because Victor Enyiche said we have to hold ourselves accountable. Which selves? The selves that will go to the people who they are supposed to hold accountable and then gather for a mini validation statement, and then they go back home and the next day they continue protesting against the federal government. When the person directly to you can actually lay your grievances to, who should give account of what the federal has given. These are federating units, by the way. These are subnationals, by the way. But then, Ugochukwu, what do you have to say? Do not forget, Victor Enyiche made a very important point. He said, this 13% derivation should actually go to these localities.
Of course.
Anyway.
We have been advocating for that. And I want to join my voices with his. And also, I want to start by saying that it should not surprise you, Laurentia, the type of who we are. We are gullible, we are sentimental, and we are more religious than the Pope. what is playing out in Rivers State now is that, yes, he's a thief, but this is my thief. Leave him for me. This is our own thief. He can go to any other place and steal and come back. We protect our own thief. But the person is stealing what belongs to others. The 13% derivation, how gullible we are. In Sokoto State, lest I forget, last week the governor imported about how many trucks of rice to cushion the effect of fire. My brother, am I in line?
No, of course.
The governor brought rice, about 300 trucks
Subsidized.
of rice.
Push to the community.
To cushion the, what are we seeing is Sokoto State richer than River State? Look at the 4 billion. I made the research. The 4 billion they said they gave through Microsoft whatever loan is 400,000. What can 400,000 do for somebody to start a business or to even add to the business someone is doing? You know, the governor and his handlers continue to pride themselves. Hey, we have given for per 4 billion. Per 4 billion that you are giving to about 400 SMEs, and they are getting about 400,000. What can 400,000? What impact can 400,000 make in the present reality of Nigerian economy, especially in River State? So this is it. Look at the 13% derivation. I've said it here when we celebrated the governor's 1 year in office. Laurentia, I remember that I said the governor of River State should do himself a whole lot of good, not to be in comparison, not to be in a haste to achieve success, because he is now having issues with his political godfather Nyesom Wike. He now want to match. I told you that even if Fubara rules for 20 years, he will not match to what Wike have done. And I've said it in your sister radio station that even if Fubara let him control all the roads in River State. No, I'm talking about the monies.
I wouldn't want us to dwell into.
I mean, where the monies are going.
Hold on. I wouldn't want us to dwell into the River State political crisis.
No, it's not political. It's where the monies are being channeled.
My interest right now is on governance.
On governance. Where the monies is being channeled, is it not? If he constructs all the roads, he will not make his mark, because the roads we saw in River State prior to now has been taken care of. And look at this, 13% derivation. Why can't the governor do something different? You had Zoe the other time say that governor has an ample opportunity when he was agreeing with me to one issue I raised. I said the governor has an ample opportunity to do things differently and write his name in good. Give us, River State does not have a functional fire service station across the state and the 3 senatorial districts. You've been here on this show when I said that the governor is talking about agricultural improvement. Thank God that my brother here have said that he wanted to hire a tractor. I've been an advocate of the governor can import tractors and keep in different local government for people to go and hire and increase our and we are farmers. Has he imported fertilizer this farming season to cushion the effect of the high cost of fertilizer? But the northerners do it. If you go to the north, they have tractors that people, even individuals have tractors that people come and hire. That's why they cultivate in volumes. But okay, look at the IGR have not been put into the revamping of the Songhai farms. What we had the governor has done is 500 billion of awarding of 3 road contracts. The Transcarbon Road is at 225 billion. Is that what we need at this present time? Laurentia, the governor stopped the 10,000 job that Nyesom Wike administration created and set up modalities to reframe the modalities. Has this seen the light of the day? Instead, we are now seeing the what do you call it? Where the monies are going. The CTC chairman in River State are buying cars for their cronies, appointed aides. Okay, look at some of the rural areas, communities that are producing this oil. Why not the governor set up a committee that will now make sure that a percentage is brought out for them, for the development of those particular communities, not their LGAs. Those particular communities that don't have access road, some don't have electricity, some don't have even potable water. So
he has come, and all we hear is the IGR has increased, the FAC allocation has increased, the 13% derivation. What difference is Seminary Fubara going to put down as a governor who has come to do things differently? Rather, when it is for you to criticize the governor, those that are sentimental will say that it has been happening, why must it be now? But you have the opportunity to change the narrative. And what have we seen in place of all these monies that have increased here and there? What impact has it made? We have not, the governor have not come to say anything about the increment of workers' salary, whether he's going to pay the 70,000 or not.
No, I think he has.
No, he has.
Now, okay, he has. Yes. Okay, now look at the where the monies are going. The House of Assembly was demolished, and you on this show you said how much that will be used to go and construct a new hallowed chamber. Is that what the people, those, why we are getting this money is 100 and something billion, 110 point something billion that we got? Is it for us to continue to, play to the gallery in developing Port Harcourt City and Faga? Let the rural areas breathe. Right. Let them have impact. Let the governor come out and make conscientious effort to redirect this. And in my state, Imo State, you know that one, we cannot talk about it because the governor of Imo State has already taken the money of 13% derivation as the extension of his monthly salary.
All right. Good.